What's going on, Maschine Masters family? My name is MGTheFuture. Today I got another exclusive tutorial for you guys in regards to the new Katy Perry single featuring Nicki Minaj called Swish Swish. You can hear it playing now. It's a bit pitched up, of course. In this particular tutorial, I want to cover a question that I received previously in regards to creating melody or using melody to create chord progressions and how to come up with some original ideas. And this tutorial fits perfect with my last tutorial in regards to DJ Khaled, I'm the One. So definitely check that out first if you haven't checked it already. But I want to break down a few things about this. It's a house pop type track inspired by some old house classics by Roland Clark. You can probably go on YouTube and play the whole song. It's pretty dope. Some nice transitions and ideas to merge these two styles of music together. On the Wikipedia page, which is uncommon for a lot of songs, is that it actually gives you the chord progression, which is pretty cool. So I want to kind of break that down a little bit and show you what's happening almost as a formula. And then also I'm just going to show you some of the sounds that you can use to kind of create that kind of feel. So first things first, let's deal with this chord progression to C minor 7, A B major 7, G minor 7, C minor 7, A B major 7, F minor 7. So it's C, A, G, F. They say it's in the key of E, B major, but I'm going to do it within its relative minor, C minor, since that's the scale I'm always playing in. And what you're going to notice is that the C to A is the 1, the 6, the 5, the 1, the 6, and the 4 for the C, A, F. And what's happening here is like in the I'm the One tutorial, that chord progression, that pop progression that we hear all the time is in a major chord. These particular chords are dominantly minor, so it's kind of like its cousin progression because it's in a different tone or key. But I want to show you what that looks like on a piano itself and how to derive chord progressions from this kind of thing. So you're not going to see the black key pressed in, but hopefully you can see everything else. So what they're doing is, if you're in a minor scale, or in this case if you're in C minor, you can come up with your melody, or in this case a bass line and chord progression, just by hitting the minor chords. So C minor has 3 minor chords, or all minor scales have 3 minor chords. So they're as follows: C, the F, and then the G. So the 1, the 4, and the 5 chord in a minor scale are the minor chords, of course. That's what makes it a minor scale. So what you would want to do to create a progression based off of that, or to create a bass line like they did off of that, you pick a chord, any of the 3, and add a key to the beginning or add a key to the end. So if you add it to the beginning, it's going to be 2. And if you add it to the end, it's going to be 4. So 1, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 5. So in the case of this particular song, they're doing that on a house organ. Serum has one. If you have Serum, it's called organ bass in the bass patches. And I think theirs is an F. And the reason why I think it's an F is because on the Wikipedia, the chord progression they listed ends on F minor 7. So when it goes into the verse where you hear this bass line, is just kind of like they're not changing key or writing like a bridge. They're just borrowing that last chord and making it the chord progression for the bass. So if it's F, it's like this. And if I'm using F as 1, and this is 3, and this is 5, then it's just 5, 3, 2, 1. And what's cool about that, let me switch back to the piano real quick so you can see it. You can do that with all the chords, so you don't have to be on F, you can be in G as well, and C as well. Now if you want to do it the other way, going up, ascending instead of descending, I would probably recommend using the 1, 3, 4, and 5. So it'd be like this in C. or alternate between both of them. And that's just with those 4 keys. Or those 4, depending on what you want to do. So let me lay down one in C minor with that bass sound. Let me go ahead and mute the reference track. Let's get us a click going. Or better yet, let's do the drums for this part. So something like this. I'm going to highlight a region, do insert MIDI clip. I'm going to go ahead and loop that point. I can turn the metronome off. And for the drums, they're fairly simple. They're just a house kit. And they're using a clap. So I'll double click on my MIDI clip. I'll change my grid to 1/8 because it's pretty much a kick on every quarter note. So let's get it real quick. Go ahead and adjust those levels while I'm at it. And 1/8 notes is pretty straightforward. This style of programming for drums is similar to drum machines like the TR-808 or the Circuit by Novation. This 16s or these 1/8 notes is probably the most common grid. You could do this on Maschine, of course, Maschine Jam, and Ableton Push. But I'm using the mouse and keyboard just so you guys can see what it looks like. So I'm just using really basic LCR panning. That means left, center, right. So because there's 3 percussive elements, I have the hi-hats on the left, the open hat on the right, and that occasional open hat in dead center with the kick and the clap. And most of these house joints are 120 beats per minute. This track's in 120 beats per minute, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Most of house is like that. And you notice a lot of our down-tempo trap and chill is also 60 beats per minute, which is halftime of what this is. So you can kind of go between this and turn it into a trap or a Drake beat real quick if you wanted to by doing halftime. And my favorite thing to do with these kind of grooves is use the groove pool. And I like the MPC grooves a lot. If not, I'll just get a Todd Terry, Roland Clark, or even David Morales house track. Because a lot of times they leave their drums open. You can just get a groove from that. But since this is the MPC swing, a lot of these grooves are already built in from the machine itself. All right, so let's work on that organ bass real quick. That's someone doing it in C, right? So that's the 5, the 3, the 2, the 1 instead of the 1, 3, 4, 5. So that's what it looks like notes wise. It's real simple. It's going in a ladder or stairs fashion, descending stairs. And you notice a lot of melodies are like that or follow that pattern or that repetition. And if you want to, you can get a little bit more mechanical and add more notes to it if you felt like it. So that's cool because we're collapsing the notes and we're only adding melody or additional notes on quarter notes within the same scale or within the keys that are used. And that brings me to my next part. They have a piano solo that is very similar to what I showed you by picking 4 keys. You also then use those same 4 keys as a root note for your chord progression. So everything's built in based on this bass line. And you notice that on a lot of Max Martin and Dr. Luke songs that they did with Neo, like there's quite a few, man. Even the DJ Mustard stuff is like this in terms of having 4-note bass lines that map to real life pop chord progressions. So let me go ahead and borrow this and just keep the clap. So I want to show you the piano again. Since a lot of house chords are in minor 7, so it's just like 1, 3, 5, 7 within your scale. And because my verse or my bass line is in a C minor or on a 1 chord, I actually want my progression to end on that. So the first chord of the verse will be the last chord of this particular bridge or hook section. So I'm going to do 1 last. So that gives me 5, 3, and 2 to start on. So I'll start with 5. Then 3. Then 2. Then 1. Stylistically, too, this is a minor chord. However, the scale that I'm playing in, this key doesn't exist. It's supposed to be this because the number 2 on a minor scale is diminished. So I went ahead and augmented that just to make it a chord. But I'm actually going to make it one of those. So let me go ahead and lay that down. And because I chose to do my chord progression that way, it also has a flow. It's a stairway descending, just like the bass line is also a stairway descending. So I'm keeping everything within the same fabric, although there's more keys in this, obviously, from the chord progressions used in 7ths and 9ths and different variations of the chords. Even if your chords don't happen to descend this way, let's say if you played like the 6 or 7 chord instead, and you get a different variation in heights, just invert them. You can manually invert them by selecting a key and then holding shift and push down. Basically, you can move the keys down or up to get the general shape to flow together. It's a little bit more trickier or more advanced to do something like that, especially when you talk about playing your bass lines or melodies with that new variation. But just in case you heard a different chord you'd rather use for that. So then I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it all the way around and see if it transitions into this bass okay. Oh, one last thing. Because it's like 2 different beats playing in this song, they actually do a tape stop on this piano. I'm not going to do the tape stop, or I might. I'm just going to cut off the beat there. And that's where your little riser or your reverse crash would go. And and then you put a big cymbal crash on the downbeat. It'll work out. But yeah, that's why I wanted to show you guys. Just to review, it's really simple process. And forgive me if it sounds too simple in terms of my explanation. Definitely leave any comments or questions if you want me to break it down. But essentially, all you have to do is look up minor chords, right? Just pick any minor chord. So I'm doing C, D sharp, and G here, right? And what you want to do is, to get your melody, you need 4 keys, because a lot of house music is, 4 to the floor, a chord per downbeat, and so is a lot of our pop music. So to get that 4th key from a minor chord, you can add 4 or you can add 2. And then from there you can play your bass line. Everything else is rhythm and spacing. And then of course you do your chord progression based off that. And if the chord kind of sounds funny when you're constrained to those 4 keys that you pick, whatever chord kind of rubs the wrong way or doesn't mesh with the others, try to invert it, or try to add like an extra note to it to make it a 7/4/9. Or take it out of its tone. So if it's like a minor, switch it to major and just go out a key for that chord to see if it fits better with the composition. And it'll still work because the root notes are going to be the same as your verse. But anyway, my name's MGTheFuture. I thank you guys for tuning into the Maschine Masters. If you're not a subscriber, definitely subscribe. We greatly appreciate that. And as always, you can contact us on social media. I'm at MGTheFuture on Instagram and Twitter. The same for the Maschine Masters, at Maschine Masters. Hope you guys enjoy this. Until next time.